to remain anonymous, who says, recently you were talking about embarrassing sex moments on your show. It was during a best of segment. It was re-airing after hours. And he says, I'll tell you this, in the middle of sex recently, my girlfriend felt the need to ask me if I could get my ladder and clean the ceiling because it looked dusty and even had a spider web in the corner. I realized she was looking up at the ceiling and was more enchanted with the ceiling and what was on it than what we were doing in bed.
I think it happens. No one wants to admit it, but I think it happens.
She's staring up at the ceiling.
Well, women are multitaskers. Men are not.
You think so?
Comes in handy sometimes.
Yeah.
But.
He says, I didn't realize I was so boring in bed that she literally had time to examine the ceiling and plan my chore list while we were in the middle of lovemaking.
And it probably bugs her, too, when she looks up there
I bet it
and
does.
sees it.
I bet it does.
She sees it more than him. Probably.
Yeah, she's probably like,
Of course, I mean, he could see it, too. He don't care.
No, he probably doesn't. Man, that's pretty rough to have somebody doing that for you, I would think.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
Well, that's when it's on him. Now he's got to go.
That's right.
You know, that's his little indicator light going off saying, you better spice something up.
But
Take it in another room.
Now,
Go to the kitchen.
Well, let me tell you a poll I just read about. Go to the kitchen.
Yeah, well, if you have one.
I don't even have it.
No.
Those of you that are...
I don't even have a kitchen.
Maybe you have to go by the Bunsen burner
Right,
or whatever it is
I don't
that you're
even
cooking
You
these
have
days.
to lay him down on the plastic sheeting.
I have no kitchen right
You
now.
know, that's not a bad idea. A little something for you and the wife. You like a little role play? Why don't you play construction worker and let her be,
Ooh.
you know, at home alone?
I could be contractor.
That's right. You're contractor, man.
Put the hard hat on.
Well, something hard hat.
Put the
Get in there.
put the belt on put the tool belt on, but nothing
Nothing
else.
else.
No
God, that's a great idea.
It looks like the leak's coming from here.
Here's your leak.
Yeah.
Do you think that is something that I could pull off? I don't know. Pizza delivery driver's one thing.
Yeah.
And you know I'm a role play person.
I know you are.
Now, she's never engaged in role play with me before.
No.
Well, don't ask her.
I just go in and do
I
it.
mean, she's your marital wife. I mean, you're supposed to just bring it on her.
There's pizzas here.
Yeah, or you know, pull up the plastic sheeting and drop it, and you're just standing there with the hard hat and tool belt
And that's it.
and everything God gave you.
And
My sister's here.
What?
My sister.
That's possible.
Yeah.
One time I suggested we make love in the kitchen, and she says, on these granite counters? Are you absolutely out of your mind? We just had this sealed.
Children ain't here.
Well, I mean, if they're not going to play, they're not going to play.
Well, we didn't do it.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And, you know, I just read, this is sexual as well, that dirty talk is less popular than it's ever been, and yet I really enjoy it.
You know why?
Why?
Because these young folks don't talk anymore. They want dirty text.
God, I hadn't even thought about
They
that.
don't talk on the phone. They don't get together at the bar. They swipe left and right. That's all they do.
I had never even thought
So
about
they have
that.
no experience.
You're really on today. You're on fire right now.
No, I'm not on fire.
He's
I'm telling
right.
you, I'm telling you
No,
the
you're
truth.
on fire.
Well,
Both of y'all, all of y'all.
We've had these studies. We've read these studies where he's right.
Well, yeah.
They don't know how to talk. People don't talk one-on-one. They'll literally better texting than talking.
Even in bed, you don't think they... I bet you're exactly right.
No, if they're in their
Yeah.
20s, then maybe whatever they do, maybe they stay at home and work. Maybe they go to and they're on their computers working.
All the
Then
time.
they're swiping left and right. They're looking for dates left and right. They're not at the bar. They're not at the wherever it is you pick up dates these days.
Wasn't it crazy? Lisa,
talk.
you know, Lisa Lanier was in here Friday. We just talked to her. And she told us that her kids are now wearing contact lenses overnight, sleeping with them only, because their vision has gone bad because they're staring at screens so much, their eyeball has literally become more elongated.
I've never heard of any of that.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
I can't believe that's the future.
The screens that were
It's
on
here.
all the time.
And that's too bad. It's a little sad. Isn't it?
It's a sign of the times where we are.
It's a sign of the times. Shouldn't be like that.
And I think you're right about that dirty talk, too.
A friend of mine posted the other day, like my generation, right at that 40-year, is like what they call the Spice Girls generation now, meaning that we had all the old stuff, but still the new stuff.
Yeah.
Like we came of age as cell phones became big.
Correct.
But I still remember how to use a rotary phone.
Yes. Well, that's good. You're the last.
Yeah, but that's it. We're right at that line where everything changed.
Yeah.
So we saw it kind of, we grew with it.
Well, I consider myself that, too, because, I mean, I remember when there was no internet. We were talking, my son is going to possibly go to Appalachian State, and we were talking about where the buildings are and what they are. And I remembered they had built a brand new business building when I was there, and you'd go there to use the computer lab. You know, it was a room full of Mac computers. And when I first got on the Mac, which was 1992, I thought, my God, it can never get better. When I clicked the trash can and the stuff went away, you're like,
oh, yeah.
Good Lord. But you're talking about role play sexually. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Butch, P1. I was going to suggest, Demm, that maybe you could, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, you could be Joaquin Octavius, and you came to collect.
Oh, the Pine Straw Man. Joaquin.
He didn't say it right, but I like it better.
That's not.
Joaquin Octavius.
It sounds a little more regal.
It does, Joaquin.
Joaquin Octavius.
Sir Joaquin Octavius.
Thank you, Butch.
Coming to America.
He had everything there wrong. He had the wrong person, the wrong everything.
Yeah.
But a pretty good suggestion, I would say.
The other thing about the dirty talk, too, is not only do they not know how to talk, they only know how to listen to it. Because if all they're doing is looking at dirty talk on their phone, they're just watching it.
Oh, you're right.
So they don't know how to initiate, and they don't know how to participate.
Well, I think you're right about talking all the way around. They'd much prefer texting to talking.
Yeah.
And that's it. But they can probably do a little sexting, like where they type it all out, without saying it.
Maybe.
Do you think?
I guess, but I think they're more used to just, manual labor.
Maybe
doing
you're
their
right.
own thing
Maybe you're right.
and watching.
I'll tell you that two things I've told you about before. The guy at wavetectherapy.com, that's that sexual device. Not a device, it's a procedure that, helps you in that area. And he says that he gets so many 25-year-olds, 23-year-olds coming in there because they've watched so much porn, they can no longer perform when they're with their girlfriend.
They think something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like
physically.
but
it's mental.
It's mental.
Yeah, because they're that's a
They
sad
can't get stimulated without.
What a sad state.
Because they've seen everything.
That's right.
I mean, when we were young, there was none of this. I mean, if you wanted porn, you had to work.
You had to go out.
You had to go and get it
for it.
and rent it and buy it and have a VCR and hopefully don't get stuck in there.
A little bit too easy now.
But when you didn't know what you had, when it was really in front of you, you're like, oh my God, this is all new and it's wonderful.
Right.
Back then, you didn't get to see everything. Now you can see it all before you go.
Totally changed.
To the go to the park.
You're right.
It's so much better now.
Now, to some people, i.e.,
to do the work.
my friend Biggie,
there's no nagging.
That's right.
That's another reason not to leave the house.
If she gets too mouthy, you can mute her.
Nobody's saying there's not pluses there, Biggs.
There's true. There's pluses and minuses to everything. But anyway, the younger generation is off the dirty talk.
That's a shame. It's a lost art. Or will be.
I liked it. I was thinking about sexting. I saw a guy sexting over at Salsaritas one day.
That's right.
But he was at middle age. He was probably 50 years old.
Yeah.
He was. I looked over his shoulder. He was much shorter than I was. I was behind him in line getting ready to order a double burrito. And I was standing over on top of him, and he was typing the dirtiest things to a woman. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was reading everything on his. Now, that was an invasion of his privacy.
Big time.
But he was like, I want your teas, and I want them now, and I want this.
Brown rice. I'm going to cover you in my pinto beans. Chicken.